Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. In this video, we are going to work with something called Scikit LLM. So there has been a new release, there has been a new library, Scikit LLM, Scikit Large Language Model. You can see that I am currently on their GitHub repository. It says Sklearn meets large language models. Earlier, you would have seen Pandas AI, Pandas GPT. There have been multiple libraries that has now, integrated GPT-3, 3.5, and other large language models. Okay, they have bundled these libraries together, so you can also utilize this library to build data science or analytics application. Okay, so if you see, it says seamlessly integrate powerful language models like ChatGPT into Scikit-learn, one of the most famous library for data science and machine learning, for enhanced text analysis task. It currently supports text analysis task. For example, if you want to do sentiment analytics, you want to do entity extraction, etc., you can utilize this library to do that. Okay, so if you come down, it says sklearn meets large language models, very catchy name there. And it says pip install scikit llm, just like we have used pandas ai. I do have a video of that as well, pandas ai chat with csv file. You can also go through that and have a look at the same library, similar library, I'll say. Okay, and then it says they have how to configure. You need an open ai api key currently, but if you also want to integrate other open source language model into it, you can also do that, if you have that infrastructure as well. Okay, now if you come down, you will see that they have multiple tasks here that you can leverage. They have zero sort text classification. We'll cover zero sort text classification on a very high level in this video, guys. What do you mean by zero sort text classification? Now if you come down, they have without labeled, labeled like a regular classification, multi-class classification, multi-label. For example, if you see it over here, they have given you enough documentation to work with it. They have vectorization, etc. Okay, now you can completely create a sklearn pipeline the way you create, using this library as well. So here is a GitHub link. I'll give this link in the description, but in this video we are going to also build a simple Streamlit application where we'll have our this data. Let me just open that here in my VS code. Now you can see I have a folder called text classification scikit large language model LLM, and I have a data CSV here. Now in this data.csv we have three things: product, rating, and review. Okay, now if you see here, we do not have, for example, the label there, the class there. Okay, we have only product, rating, and review. So product X, you can see I have created this using ChatGPT. I have asked ChatGPT to give me 50 reviews of a product, and just give them some rating. This is what I have done. Okay, with ChatGPT, have asked this, and I have created this data CSV. Now what we will do, we'll use this data CSV. Okay, we'll upload that on our Streamlit application, and we will leverage Scikit large language model library, that again uses GPT 3.5 turbo in backend, and we'll ask GPT 3.5 turbo to basically classify this, okay, and give us a CSV file again that we can download it. Okay, so basically it's gonna make your data analytics and data science job little easier. Okay, and of course that's going to be happen in future, guys. So anyway, let me create an app.py here. We need an app.py to work with it. But before we go and start writing our Streamlit code and build this application, now if you come down here, okay, it says zero sort classification. Now what do we mean by zero sort classification, guys? Okay, so I want to cover zero sort classification in on a very high level. So let's jump into that. Let's see how we can explain this part. Now if you see, let me just bring my cast here. So what I will do, I'll try to explain it. Okay. So zero sort classifier is nothing, but it refers to the ability of a classifier. Okay, so let me just write it over here. Okay, let me just give me a moment. Let me just make this. Okay, let me just change this background, guys. Just give me a time. Let me just make it black. Yeah, now it looks good. Now zero sort classifier. Okay, when I talk about zero sort, okay, what do you mean by zero sort classifier? Okay, it's a very trending topic nowadays. People are talking about zero sort classifier. Okay, so basically it refers to the ability of a classifier to perform well on classes or categories it has not been explicitly trained on. So for example, let me just write a sentiment. Let's take a sentiment problem. So we have this sentiment classifier. Okay, sentiment, I'm just writing sentiment classification. Now suppose in your data, in your sentiment classification data, you have positive and you have negative. You don't have any neutral. So in your data, that when you are using zero sort classifier, it has not seen, for example, the neutral class. Okay, so it hasn't seen neutral, for example. So it hasn't seen neutral. Okay, now, so it also generalizes on this unseen category. So I'm just writing it over here, very simple in one line. Okay, so the classifier, generalizes to unseen categories or tasks when we are making the inference or task during inference. So it again learns from the patterns and representation, okay, from inference. Now it hasn't seen neutral, but it will be able to classify. Now zero sort classifier, guys, okay, when I come down, the zero sort classifier or classification task that we say, it's a very broad concept. Okay, it's a very broad concept. It's a very broad concept. And in this broad concept, now when I'm writing zero sort classifier, okay, zero sort classifier. Now here in this, now it depends. It's mostly depends on transfer learning. Okay, it typically involves transfer learning or pre-trained, models there to leverage the knowledge from, related categories or tasks which it has not seen it. Okay, and this basically allows the classifier to generalize, to unseen categories, or the task. Okay, now here, for example, it can be bird. All this can be utilized. All this can be fine-tuned. Okay, GPT, or even on, or even linear classification algorithm, right? Now if you see here on the Scikit LLM will show that, okay, it says zero sort GPT classifier. Now what does it mean? Because it on in back end it is utilizing GPT models, right? GPT 3, 3.5, or it can also utilize 4 in future when it's available for everyone. Okay, now that's the back end. Okay, and that part. So basically if you talk about this sentiment, let me just write it down over here. Okay, if you talk about this sentiments task, what are the factors or that we consider? Okay, how does it, so something called vector representation, I hope you are aware of vectors. What are the key components, okay, when we are looking at this? Then we have something called, for example, distance metrics, and then we have similarity calculation. These are on very high level. These are the factors or the components that we basically consider when we are working on this task. Now this depends what kind of architecture that you are using. Okay, now if you are using BERT, all of these three we might have a different way. Okay, we are using transformers, it has different tokenizers. When you are going with linear classification algorithm, it has a different tokenizers, and it has a different, there are multiple similarity calculation algorithms, like there are a lot. Okay, when you are working with basic NLP task, you would have heard about cosine similarity, TF-IDF, Jacquard similarity, etc., etc. There are multiple out there, right? Now if you talk about, let's talk about maybe very mathematically. Now suppose, for example, how does a text classifier works, guys, on very high level. Let's cover this quickly. So we have input text, for example. So input text, suppose if you are denoting your input text as X. Okay, and then you have classes or categories, and those categories, so I'm just writing embeddings of the categories, of the known categories, by the way. If the known categories, now for example, this can be your C1, C2, dot 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 up to cn. Okay, n number of categories can be there, isn't it? Then how do we calculate the similarity score? In very layman terms. So similarity score. Now this similarity score, let's call this, for example, SSI, similarity score. And how do we define that? This is your cosine similarity. So I'm just writing cosine sim, and those, it's a function. We pass our input text and we pass all the embeddings. Now this function is, again, we have to define that. Okay, on very high level, f of x equal to y, you would have heard that. Now that function is that what kind of algorithms you are using, what kind of techniques that you are looking, that's how the function will change. Okay, and then basically also write the predicted label. So now how do we predict what label is that? So predicted label is nothing but, for example, argmax, so maximum of SSI, that's the predicted label, for example. This is how a simple text classifier works. This is for a simple text classifier. Simple text classifier. Now this is simple. Now in case of, for example, when we are working with GPT based backend, okay, GPT based backend on zero sort, if we talk about GPT 3, 3.5, 4, whatever, those are closed source model, guys. Okay, there are very less information available on, at least on the research side. Okay, it's mostly on assumptions. But when you talk about GPT backend zero sort classifiers, there are again three important factors that we have to consider. The first is what kind of neural net computation the developers are, or the researchers are considering while training that model. Okay, so neural net computation, then we have, if it's transformer based, then we have attention mechanism, again a very big topic. Maybe let me know if you want to have a simple attention mechanism video. What is attention mechanism on a very layman terms with some mathematical intuition, I can cover that as well. So neural net computation, attention mechanism, and language modeling when it comes to this kind of zero sort classifier related to GPT backend. And these are all complex topic, guys, to be honest. They are very complex topic but can be understood. Now very quickly, if I just have to cover what is very high level on attention mechanism, so basically it allows, how should I explain it? So allows the model, so whatever model we are using, transformer model, allows the model to focus on, different parts, of of input sequence when making the prediction. So when we are making the prediction, so when making the prediction, when making the predictions, when making the prediction. Okay, it basically, it calculates, when we're talking about attention mechanism, it calculates something called attention weights, okay, which are very very interesting as well and very intuitive to understand. So attention weights, okay. Now this is the thing, attention weights, that that basically determines the importance or relevance of each input tokens. Now you would have used tokenizer, right? You have tokens, so this basically determines the, let me just write it, determine the importance or relevance. So let me just write importance or relevance of each input token, to other tokens in the sequence. So we have a sequence, we generally have a sequence. So it basically determines the importance or relevance of each input token to the other tokens in the sequence, how relevant they are. Okay, and then it goes on, and then we have multiple other things, right? It's beyond of this video, guys. Let me know if you want to have a separate video or attention mechanism and language modeling. Maybe I'd like to cover that. But if you come to zero sort classifier, as we discussed, that this basically generalizes to unseen categories or tasks during inference. Okay, this is the beauty of zero sort classifier, guys. Okay, now let's do one thing. Now let's basically go back. Okay, so I'll just close this, I will go back, let me just do an escape, I'll come back over here, and we are going to leverage this Scikit LLM now to basically work on a Streamlit application that we are going to build. Okay, and in that Streamlit application we'll have this sentiment text classifier. Okay, that's what we are going to do. So if you see here on my VS Code, I have a something called app.py. Now let's start writing the code, guys. So the first thing that we have to do, we have to first install all this. I hope you have installed all this. We need Streamlit, we need Scikit LLM, we need python.env basically to handle the API key, and we need pandas because we are going to work with the CSV file, guys. I said I will upload CSV file and we'll get our result in a CSV file. Okay, let's see how this makes your data science task easier. So first thing that we have to do, we have to, as usual, we have to import Streamlit etc. here. So let's import Streamlit as ht, then we import pandas as pd, and then we import from Sklearn. Let's copy it from here, guys. I think they would have given you. So from scikit-learn dot config, yes, this is what I need. So let me just copy this here from scikit-learn, from from scikit-learn scikit-llm config, and now let's copy this zero sort classifier, guys. Okay, kid classification dataset etc. we need it. So let's copy this. Now let's copy this. Okay, so it also has dataset there. If you don't have any dataset with you, you can just use get classification dataset. That will also help you load dataset. Now we need couple of other things. So let's import OS, and then we need .env. So from .env import load.env. Okay, so load underscore dot underscore env. And now what we will do, the first thing is we'll do load.env constructor call. Okay, this is been initiated. Now we have to define our API keys and organization. So OpenAI underscore API keys, and I have kept my keys and organization name in the env file. You can see in the left hand side in VS Code. I'm not going to expose that. So os get env, and then here I'm going to pass yes OpenAI API keys, and similarly the organization name. Okay, so organization underscore name, and then it goes os.getEnv. This looks nice. Organization name. So we have set it up, guys. Now let's copy this to pass it to skllm config. So I'm just going to copy this over here, guys, and then come back and just paste it over here. And your API key, these things will get changed here. So set OpenAI key. Let me just put it over there. Set OpenAI key, and then I'm going to write OpenAI API key here, and this also gets changed to organization name here. So organization name, that's it. So we are done with our setup, guys, there, API keys etc. Now let's write the code for sentiment classifier. Okay, and now here we can write okay. Now the next thing is we need x and y. Pretty much, we are going to basically classify the get classification dataset. Okay, let's initiate this method we have imported on top, and our classifier variable, so CLF, and we are going to use this module zero sort GPT classifier that we have imported as well from SKLLM, scikit-learn LLM, and it takes an input parameter called OpenAI model. Which model that you are trying to use? So you can make multiple model here, right? So OpenAI underscore model, and I'm going to use turbo here. So GPT-5 GPT, how do we write it? I forgot, 3.5 and hyphen turbo. Okay, this looks nice, and we'll just do fit, guys. So CLF that we are going to fit on X and Y data here. Okay, this is our code. Now let's write the Streamlit code. Okay, so Streamlit code. Now this is what I'm going to write, Streamlit code. Now the first thing that we always do, guys, if you have seen my previous videos, in all of video, I first set the page config. I need a wide layout. So ht.set page config, and here I pass layout, and that layout equals wide. I need a wide layout. I can also give page title. So page underscore title, just write sentiment classifier, something like that. Okay, yes. Now let's give a maybe a title, guys. So st.title. So sentiment classifier app using SKLLM, something like this. Or let's write scikit learn and LLM. Okay, I write twice LLM. Now this looks nice. So let's have a file uploader as we discussed. We'll have a upload CSV file uploader. We'll storing it there. st.file uploader. st.file uploader. If you don't know Streamlit, it helps you create data science application faster. It's a web framework in Python that you can find it on streamlit.io/docs. Okay, if you want to go through the documentation. Now st.file uploader, and here we are going to write upload your CSV file. Upload your CSV file. And here I'm gonna pass my type here. So this type is nothing but it's a CSV format that I'm expecting. In this case, when writing list, you can write multiple extension here, but for that you have to write extra Python code, to handle the files there. Now if upload CSV is not known, there should be a file, and then we'll have a button called if st.button here, and in this button let's write analyze CSV or something. Okay, analyze CSV file, for example. And what happened here? Okay, and let's have two columns. So column 1, column 2, we are going to divide the layout. I'm going to use ht.columns here, pretty much straightforward. In all of my videos I work with this, guys. Please watch my previous videos, maybe the chat with CSV file where I'm using pandas AI, similar like Scikit LLM. So column 1, now with column 1, so whatever happens in column 1, my code goes here. So with column 1, let's have an info, and in this info I'm gonna write CSV file uploaded, something like this. CSV file uploaded. Okay, ht.info and then CSV file, and here goes my just a file name, upload csv.name. And because I'm going to show that on the data frame CSV file, so let's have with open os.path.join. This looks good. So this will not be upload CSV, it will be now CSV file which contains the name here. So CSV file, and then we need to, let me just write it. Okay, and this goes like this as file. So f with open, this looks okay, this looks correct. F.write, let's write it. F.write, it should not be CSV file, it's going to get buffer. So F.write, we have to use that. So upload CSV dot get buffer, get buffer. This is a function. This looks nice. I don't know why it didn't show me. Maybe let's print it out. I think I'll get an error, but it's okay. Print CSV file. And now let's have a data frame where you're going to show this. pd.read CSV, pd.read CSV file. We'll have encoding, etc. So let's have encoding Unicode scape. Let's use, how do we write it, guys? Unicode, I think it's under rate. Okay, Unicode scape. What else? Let's don't have any index column 1 2 something like that. So index col equals none. And now we can show ht.data frame, ht.data frame df, and I'm gonna use the container width, which is true. So use container width, and that's gonna be true here. So that's our column 1, guys. Now everything goes in column 2. That basically comes from the scikit-learn thingy. Okay, so this is a little tricky part. So let's see. Let's first have a list here, guys. So data list. Okay, in this data list, what I'm gonna do, I only need the review. Let's go to data CSV here. You can see the review column. So df, and that's in here. I'm going to pass review, and we just have to convert it to tool list. Okay, so let's call it tool list, the Python function there, tool list, and then have a labels equals CLF, that with the variable that we have defined above here. You can see where we have our CLF.fit, and just I'm going to pass it here. So CLF.predict, and in this I'm going to pass my data list here, guys. So data list, okay, and then df sentiment, okay, df sentiment. We have to store that as well, isn't it? So this is my sentiment, so labels, and then ht.info. Let's have an info message, guys. Sentiment analysis result. So I'm just gonna write here sentiment analysis result, and then ht.data frame. We saw that result as well, guys. So ht.data frame. I'm gonna write again here is a df use container with true. Excuse me, this looks nice. And then let's have to, maybe we can also do one thing, CSV file, or let's call it CSV data, and then df dot 2 underscore CSV. Let's save that. So 2 underscore CSV index equals to false. Don't want to save that again in the repetitive column, and just let's encode UTF-8 here, guys. So encode basically UTF-8, and we can have a download button, ht.download button. Just give me a minute. What is the Streamlit download button? I forgot the function parameter, guys. Okay, it takes a label, data, file name. Okay, fine. ht.download button. So we are going to use ht.download button. Let's have a download button, and let's give a label first. So button label, guys. Okay, so that label will be download data as CSV. Okay, now this is what I'm gonna doing here. Okay, so now I'm gonna pass also data. My data is nothing but my data is CSV data. So CSV data, and I need a file name here, guys. So something like file underscore name, and in this file underscore name, I'm just gonna write a result, maybe result df.csv, result df.csv. Just hold on, let me see. Okay, and then what is there any mime? Okay, mime equals to none, mime. So it's a CSV. So how do we write? I think it's txt or text. Let's have text. Okay, it's showing me text CSV. Good. So text CSV. Now here we have a download button. Let me check that. So label download data as CSV, and then we have, let me just make this small, download data as CSV data equals to CSV data, then file name equal to result df CSV, mime equal to text CSV. Okay, now if you guys see what we have done in this code, guys, less than 50 lines of, exactly 50 lines of code here, by the way. We have imported all the required libraries. We have used the load.env to handle the API keys from OpenAI dashboard. We have saved that in env file, and now we have couple of things going on here. If you see code for sentiment classifier, we are separating in X and Y, storing get classification datasets. Then we are saying, okay, you use the classifier zero sort GPT classifier on this X and Y, but I am giving my data, so you have to predict me on my data, the unseen data that it has not seen it, as we were discussing in the screencast when I was explaining it. So it's loading the data, but now I am predicting on my data that we are taking from the end user through a CSV file, this data.csv, which is a very less number of data, guys, right? You need a, maybe for better accuracy, maybe you will see that your data corpus would be bigger, isn't it? So we are uploading that here, and then we have a couple of things, file operations going on. Then we have reading it, showing in the first column, this is data upload you are uploading, and then with column 2 we are doing this. Now let's run this, guys. So how do we run a Streamlit application? We first have to activate the virtual environment, which I have not yet. So cd script, okay, cd scripts, and then /activate and cd .. Okay, cd dot dot cd dot dot, and then let me just make clear. Now you can see my virtual environment has been activated. I will just do okay Streamlit run app.py, guys. Okay, now let's do that. And now you can see it shows us, okay, it shows a title, sentiment classifier app using scikit-learn LLM. It has a drag and drop option also. You can also upload your data. Uploading my data. Once I upload my data, which is 4.3 KB, now you can see an analyze CSV file button. Let's click on that, guys. Now when I click on that, you can see something is running also, and we got our data frame here. Okay, so product rating and review. So this is our product name, product X. That I have created this data frame using ChatGPT, guys. You can also do that. Go on ChatGPT and ask, create a data frame, a CSV file of 5 products. Each product should have 10 reviews. Give some ratings and just save that CSV file. Give me the code and run that code. It will do it. Or just copy that, the record and put it in a Excel sheet or spreadsheet and then convert it to a CSV. Now at least you can do that. Okay. Now once you have the CSV file, okay, what we are doing, we are using Scikit LLM. Okay, we are having that, and it takes a little time because you can see, right, it took around 1 minute or something when I was talking. You can have some loader and all to see it. Now you can see we have our sentiment analysis result over here. Okay, we have product rate and we have got something called sentiment, which we have created over here. You see df sentiment labels, we have created this here, and we are storing that in a CSV file, guys, this data frame, and you can download that. Let's see that. I absolutely love product. Product X is so you can see mix of reviews. I'm not expecting the accuracy to be high here. It's a very less number of record that we have. Okay, but anyway, it's okay. But you see how easier it makes your workflow, isn't it? If you are working as a data analyst or data scientist, where you need some kind of fast prototyping, if you're not bothering about the result at the first place, if you just need a fast prototyping, you can utilize Scikit LLM, Pandas AI, with GPT, etc models or libraries which are available there, based on large language model. You can see, isn't it, about, it's a must have for everyone. I can't say enough good things. You see positive, product X is fantastic, positive. I have mixed feelings, so negative he is saying. Okay, and I'm impressed with product, neutral he is, somebody is saying. Okay, so it's positive and negative. Okay, product X is average, works fine, but there are better options. I can't, so you can understand, right? So on accuracy wise, it's not that still there. Okay, I think we need a better data also to upload it, but that you can create. And now the one thing I also want to show you is how to download this data. When you click on that, it says download data as CSV. Let's click on that, and you can see that result df CSV. Okay, I don't have a file as currently on opening this, but you can see I'm opening this in VS Code. You see, you can now see the sentiment. Just imagine if you have thousands of rows of some reviews or some kind of text data, or you have a very big text corpus. You can use this to basically do that. Okay, and you will find the code on my GitHub repository as well. If you need that for the app, at least go ahead and fork that repository, extend it, change your data. For example, let me show you what I'm talking about. So AI anytime. Okay, AI, sorry, I just clicked on one of the project. I wanted to go. Okay, come on AI anytime over here. And now you'll see what I'm talking about. So we have this Scikit LLM text classification Streamlit app. Go on this GitHub repository, fork this app. You can also add some charts also if you want. And you can also change the data and see what kind of performances you are getting using Scikit LLM. That's what you can also do, guys. But this is what I wanted to do in this video, guys. I wanted to create this Streamlit application using Scikit LLM. So I also wanted to give you a high level overview about zero sort classifier. Let me know if you have some suggestions for me, like what kind of topics I should cover in the future videos. Currently I'm not able to come on the basically the video. Okay, I'm recording just my audio, and I'm just recording the screen because I'm currently on travel, so I'm not able to record that. But I wanted to create some videos for you guys, some content for you. That's why I'm just recording it. But let me know if you have any suggestions for me. Okay, I will consider those and I will come up with those videos as well. I hope you like this video, guys. Okay, if you have any thoughts, please let me know in the comment box, or also reach out to me through my social media channels or my email. I will consider. I know we can get in touch. And so that's all for today's video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like icon. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, please subscribe that and share this video with your friends and to peer. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one, guys.